it can be something, okay, it can be something that is in addition to your full-time job. And I think many of us in the mentoring program are looking at it in that way. So many of us do have full-time commitments. I here at the chamber, along with other things, and it can be sitting on a board, maybe one, maybe two, but that's probably the extent of it because you already have a full-time job. The other reason to join a board is possibly because it's part of your portfolio career. And so some of you, may be at that stage already, maybe you're exploring it. There are many people who have this portfolio career where you might have many different consulting type of gigs or different ways to put together, to fill up your working schedule, right? You're not beholden to one employer, and being on a board or two or three could be part of this portfolio. So that sounded very interesting to me, and I didn't really know people did it that way. And then finally, there are the full-time board members who sit across different boards. So then I realized, oh, okay, what are the different options open to me as I continue along exploring what kind of boards I want to be on, what role boards are going to play in my life. Okay, so that's how to join a board in the different permutations that I've simplified it. And then finally, what does it mean to be on a board? I can't say that I really know yet, but I do hope that it means that it'll enable me to make a meaningful impact. Clearly, even as a scientist, I like to think that I have the ability and the opportunity to connect business with science, with policy. So that's essentially what I'm driving at in my own personal career and in my own, thinking about what I'd like to accomplish. And the main takeaway that I want to share with you that I got from the program is that everyone's on a different journey and everyone's kind of going at it at a different pace. So I did get a little bit anxious during the program because I felt some folks who you'll hear from today seem to be a little bit more advanced in their thinking or in terms of how close they were to having a board seat. So I would get really anxious that I was slacking off or that, oh no, I'm just not, meeting Georgette and Karen's expectations. Here they gave me this opportunity and I haven't fully taken advantage of it. But they were really helpful in helping me understand it's okay. Like you figure out what is right for you. And that experience has been really important. And finally, I'll leave you with what I'm currently working on. So I spoke to my executive coach about this experience. And one of the things that I'm doing is that certainly I am open to opportunities if they present themselves. But what I'm really doing in a very planful way is that instead of doing a board CV of my current qualifications and capabilities, I am writing a board CV because, I don't know if any of you know this, but you have to have a CV, right, to get on, to be interviewed for a board. And it is not the CV you did to get your job now, okay, FYI. So I'm like, okay, board CV, oh my God, it's so intimidating. So what I decided to do with with my executive coach's support, and it was really his idea, I have to give him credit. He said, why don't you do a board CV for 2 years from now, right? What do you want your board CV to look like 2 years from now? And then within these 2 years, you can start to be very planful of what you're gonna do to get that board seat that you want. So that's what I'm currently working on. And I don't believe I would have been able to arrive at that this type of thinking if I hadn't gone through the mentoring program. So thank you for allowing me to share my experience.
Thank you, Hsien. We will take questions later, and I think the ladies on the Zoom call here obviously want to hear all the experiences first before the questions come. Let's, Wily, why don't we go next to yourself, and we'd love for you to share your experience.
Thank you, Georgette. Hi, everyone. I'm Wily. So I'm a Singaporean lawyer with a background in media and technology. I've been a lawyer for more years than I care to remember. I was erstwhile head of legal at Twitter APAC for 5 years, and for the past 2 years have headed a legal team that supports growth programs at Meta across APAC, Africa, LATAM, EMEA, essentially all of the world except for the US. So for me, I was at a point, or I am at a point in my life where I have been thinking very seriously about the next stage in my career. So the question I, had been mulling was, do I want to continue working full time for the next 10, 15, whatever it is years at what I have been doing, and truthfully enjoying? Or can I apply my experience and knowledge beyond what I have been doing? So, you know, I do feel that I have gained a lot of experience working for US companies, mainly in a very international setting, running deals, helping businesses scale and grow for many years. And in doing this, I have not just been a lawyer, but more importantly, a strategy partner, sounding board, and a general counsel to the business and senior management that I support. So I realized over time that I truly enjoy guiding and strategizing and nurturing businesses to grow sustainably. Therefore, to me, board work seemed a natural extension as the next step in my career. So I had been mulling over the idea for a number of years, but as Hsien-Hsien said, you know, wasn't really sure how to get there. You know, how do I get started on the process? It's not as easy as you think, you know, and I hadn't seriously embarked on exploring what I should do to get to that end objective. So it was pure serendipity when I spotted BoardAgender's post on LinkedIn in May 2021. I think it was a Sunday, and I was so excited. I immediately shared it with my husband, and I said, "Oh my God, look at this! You know, should I apply?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know, try for it." So the idea of finding a program that was designed especially to nurture and develop the next generation of women directors, which would match me to a mentor, which was created and designed to give me the opportunity to learn how I start and continue on the path on this journey, because it is a journey. Learn from women who already were experienced directors, who were going to share, you know, what they had learned, what they were continuing to learn. A program that would give me specialized and quality training that was curated through, you know, specific sessions. It wasn't just being paired with a mentor, but there were curated masterclass sessions that were part of the program, you know, allowing me to discuss my aspirations, my doubts, my concerns, my anxieties in a safe space, you know, with fellow mentees and our program directors, especially Georgette and Karen, as Hsien-Hsien has said. I can only, you know, second that. They have been amazing, supportive directors. So for me, it was like striking the lottery, finding that post. The online application process was very straightforward. It was, you know, a question of responding to the questions, the sections in there. Subsequently, I was contacted, and we set up a short interview session with a member of the selection committee. And that session wasn't just me being interviewed and asked questions, but was a discussion that allowed us to get to know each other, because it's important for you as an applicant to understand the program and understand what you're signing up for, because it is a commitment. So that was a good opportunity to have that discussion and, you know, clarify any questions that I might have had, and to decide if, yep, this is the time for me to commit to this. Or maybe after learning about it, you might think, you know, maybe I'm not ready for it yet, and I'll give it a little bit more time. So that was a great opportunity to have that discussion. So I was very fortunate, and I feel very fortunate that I was one of the 10 women, because I know that there were many applicants. And so I was one of the 10 who was given the opportunity to be part of the first cohort. I think for me, one aspect of the program that I didn't expect, but has been such an added bonus, is the community that we formed amongst our fellow mentees and our program directors. And as the program continues and we have more and more cohorts, that community or that sisterhood will only continue to expand. So, you know, with the mentees, we sometimes get together. We continue to keep in touch, whether it's in person or communicating via chat groups. we cheer each other's successes and commiserate if there are, disappointments in life. It cannot always be about success. But it really, we formed a sisterhood, a community, and that's going to be, I think that's a big part, for me at least, of this program. Knowing that there's this group of women, amazing women, that have gone through this journey with me, who are continuing on this journey towards a board seat, and knowing that we can share, our thoughts, our questions, tap each other for guidance. It's something that shouldn't be underestimated, and I'm really grateful for that. Of course, another aspect is continuing that relationship with your mentor. So that reminds me, I need to contact my mentor, because I've been planning to take him out for lunch, because they commit graciously to share not only their time, but their experience, and they do so in a very honest, giving way. So that's another relationship that you will take away from this, and is part of the program, which continues even when the core program itself has ended. So apart from these supportive sorority, what else did I learn about myself from participating in the program? So I always thought of becoming a director as an extension of my current career. I think one big lesson for me was realizing that I should look at this almost as if I were making a career change. After undergoing the program, I realized that if I wanted to be a good director, I wouldn't be just a woman lawyer on a board, right? In the same way I am now a woman lawyer at Meta. I would have to bring so much more to the table if I wanted to be an effective director, and more than a mere token to gender equality, because that's very important. Like Hsien-Hsien, I want to have impact. I want to be a role model. But to be a role model, you have to have impact. You have to be someone who goes on a board and makes a difference, who is able to influence people. I don't want to just be that tick in the box. They need 3 women directors by X date. And so here we're going to ask Wily. And, during my time on the board, I just keep quiet and keep my head down. That's not the reason I want to be on a board. So, I do feel the program, not only did I learn a lot, but I also learned how much I still need to learn. I need to retrain to acquire a whole new set of skills. I need to understand group and board dynamics, people management, how to influence. So these are all skills that, we may or may not use all the time as part of our current jobs, but I think become even more critical when you are a board member and you are guiding a business, and sometimes maybe in conflict with what management wants, but you have to have that skill to be able to guide them and help them grow the business in a sustainable way. Sometimes by saying no, but in a way that brings them along with you, so that the business, the company is, that's the interest that you are looking at. So it's been an amazing experience. The only last thing I would like to close with is to tell everyone, think carefully whether you are prepared to commit yourself to this program. It's been carefully curated. A lot of effort and trouble has gone into creating a very good program. And if you're not sure that you are able to commit fully, whether at this time or, after learning more about it ever, then I think it's fair to take a step back, maybe let someone else have that opportunity now, and then come back when you're ready. But it is a commitment. So, in fairness to everyone, I think you either go in with that full commitment or, reconsider. That's what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Willie. And absolutely right. And I know what you spoke about, the camaraderie that you felt, the cohort that you developed between all of you, the mentees, and you rallying around each other when you had a success. You know, when one of you passed one of the a program, you qualified in a program, you all shared those successes, but also some disappointments along the way. So hopefully that cohort carries through and continues to support each other. So thank you for sharing. And again, it's right. It is a commitment. For those young ladies here and who are interested in the program, it is specially curated. In addition to the one-on-one relationship that you will have with your mentor, and we do encourage at least a regular meetup. We do encourage a certain frequency. Obviously, if you can do more sessions and your mentor is happy to do that, you know, that's great. That's just an added bonus. But as part of the program, we also look to add other sessions. And Willie mentioned them, you know, the opportunity to listen and hear the experiences of other women and their journeys onto sitting on different types of boards, their challenges, obviously, too, the different paths, and getting that really good advice. So the program, within the 6 months, you'll get a few of those opportunities in addition to the one-on-one relationship that you have with the mentors. So let's move on to Jovina to tell us about her experience. And Jovina's background is very different again. So her path along this journey is a different one. So Jovina, please.
Thank you, Georgette. Hello, Karen. Hello, everyone. So my name is Jovina Ang. I used to be a corporate leader. So I spent over 25 years working for big IT firms, Microsoft, Cisco, Dell, Sun. Well, now Sun is part of Oracle. I was doing work in strategy, general management, marketing, as well as communication. And then after that, I pivoted to be a faculty member, a full-time faculty member in NUS, and then after that, I'm now sort of like I have a portfolio career, so I still do a bit of teaching, I do a bit of coaching, a bit of consulting. I also write, and I'm recently a podcaster as well. So why did I apply for this program, and why do I want to be a board member? Well, basically, I've really enjoyed my corporate stint in terms of like directing and influencing the company that I was working, the companies I was working for. And I miss that. And I see this as an extension to what I can contribute to companies, to people, and also to society. Oh, I forgot to mention to you, I did sit on the board of the Institute of Public Relations of Singapore. And basically I got on the board because a friend just asked me. So it was a nonprofit, but what I'm interested is more in terms of getting on profit boards, and also to contribute at a broader level. And that's why I applied for the program, because it was very, very well curated. Because quite honestly, I had no idea how to get on a profit board. I don't know how you get also on a nonprofit board. If, for example, if my friend had not asked me, I wouldn't know how to get on it. So I found this program very comprehensive because it sort of gave you the whole landscape. And the people who are part of the program, Karen, Georgette, the selection committee, as well as the mentors and who have been asked to be part of this program, have all that background. And I saw this as an opportunity to learn from people. And the other thing too is that because I have this portfolio career right now, I mean, unlike working in a corporate world, it's not easy to network. And I also wanted, selfishly, I wanted to build my network, because relationships are very important in whatever we do, whether it's for work or life or even have a good time. So that's the other objective why I applied for the program. In terms of the program itself, I just have 2 words to say: simply wonderful. It's very well curated in terms of access to other board directors other than the mentor that's been assigned. The friends, like we really talked about the friendship. Hsien also talked about it. I mean, a few of us have formed really, really good friendship, and that goes a long way, because I think we women need to support one another more. Karen's been very, very generous. I mean, she shared her board CV with me very, very early on, and I didn't know I had to do something like that. And, you know, I found out how to do it, and I use her template. And the other thing that this program has allowed me is that Georgette is also very generous. I mean, she sits on several societies, and, you know, whenever there are events, she's always opening those to us. And, you know, it's beyond this program. So let me also say something about my mentor. One of the things that I'm very, very grateful for is my mentor. My mentor is Daniel. He's not only a trusted friend, he's a mentor, and he's also a sponsor. Because one of the first things when I first met him was, hey, can we be friends first? Because relationships really, really matter to me. And from there, we just built our relationship. And he's constantly looking out for opportunities for me. For example, he got me in touch with Kitsun, who's the head of the Center of Nonprofit Leadership. And I had a discussion with Kitsun, and Kitsun presented 3 opportunities for me. And now I've been invited to sit on the school advisory committee for a primary school. And so opportunities like this just don't come, you know, and Daniel made it happen for me. And I'm still meeting up with Daniel even today. I mean, we meet up every month. You know, sometimes we can talk for like 4 hours. Georgette, 4 hours. We can just talk. I mean, we'll just have to find a space that will not kick us out, you know. And we've been meeting up every month just to have a chat and to check in with one another. I mean, he's become such a good friend. What else did I learn about you know, myself? I would say that, you know, having gone through the curated program, as well as talking to Daniel and talking to my fellow mentees, I know for sure I want to be on board, you know, I want to sit on more boards, right? So that's something I want, because I know that that's a way for me to contribute back. And also how I contribute will be asking questions and also influence, like what Willie said, because I also bring a lot of experience that can to boards. So that's for sure I want to do. The other thing I learned in terms of the program or board directorship in general, one is that board directorships are highly dependent on the relationship currency. Everyone I talk to, whenever they get invited to a board, they've built all that relationship for years and years and years. So that's why it's investing in that relationship is so important. And for me, it's also about investing in, you know, building strong relationships, because you just don't know where opportunities will come, because board opportunities can come from anyone, anywhere, and anytime. And sometimes it might take 3 months, sometimes it may take years, but you've got to have that relationship. And falling on from that is you got to tell people, because people are not mind readers. And if people don't know you're interested, how do they know that you will be that? How would they know to ask you to consider that opportunity? So you got to tell people. And then, of course, Karen, thank you for introducing me to Alan, the headhunter from Hydrate. And as I was talking to him, he said, look, the other thing that's very important for headhunters is that they also want people who are visible, who are seen to be influential, and who has an opinion and so on. And maybe actually a side note in terms of why I'm starting the podcast is also to increase my visibility. So that's also important, because it's not just something that, you know, you do this program and you can get on a board. You've got to also work on it and invest in yourself, invest in a relationship, and continuing on to sort of tell people that you're interested. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jovina. And you're absolutely right. Finding your voice, making sure that you are visible in the right places, whether, and certainly in the substantive places, substantive ways, contributing at forums, sitting on committees, providing input, writing articles, being published. Those are all really, really important in building your own profile. And this is where it's not just, I'm going to sit back and wait to be invited to serve on a board. And again, I'm also very cognizant of the fact that I actually like to say we serve on boards rather than just sit on boards, right? Because it is a responsibility. It is a heavy responsibility. Should not be taken lightly. If you get invited to serve on a board, definitely. And I think you'll hear too that don't always take the first one that comes along. Think very carefully. Do you really think you can commit to it? Do you really want to be part of it? Is it something that you know you can contribute to? Those are important questions that I think our mentors have raised time and time again with their mentees. I think there's a consistent thread here. The relationship that our mentees had with their mentors was obviously very, very good. And it is as good as what the mentors as well as the mentees put in. It is commitment. It is certainly the time, it's the interest. And as you can see, the relationship carries on even after the program is done. And our mentees have graduated from the program, so to speak. But clearly that friendship, the sponsorship carries through. And that camaraderie of the cohort of these women obviously carries on also too. They will be lifelong friends. Karen, did you want to say anything, any of your comments from your perspective with regards to the program, the mentors and the mentees?
No, actually, I mean, to be fair, I think our mentees have actually said it because they've actually experienced it. So no, it's great to see the journey. It is a journey to go along. It is a commitment, but I think in a way the program's been designed to help people in a way that maybe some of us have not had the opportunity, had learned from our mistakes. And so I think that's one of the beauties of the program, is actually to try and leverage on collectively the experiences of all of us going through these journeys, and try and maybe institutionalize a bit more so more people can do it, rather than scrambling around and learning about these things yourself. So I think it's great to see our mentees have learned so much. I've really enjoyed the process, but we want to take it to the next level and bring it to more people.
And I think, we're hoping that we will be, for our next cohort of mentees, we'll be able to pair them up with some of our graduating mentees, our graduates already, so that there's a bit of a buddy system even, and you can cap on their expertise and follow their journey, so to speak. I think I do want to highlight one other thing. You've heard from the mentees, they had male mentors. So while some of our mentees had women as their mentors, the journey with the male mentors was just as super valuable and priceless. And I don't think we had any complaints in any way along the way that, oh, I wanted a female mentor. No, nothing like that at all. We were very fortunate that we got some terrific mentors, and I wanna actually highlight the fact that we invite our mentors to come in because we know that they have so much to give, and that they are prepared to commit the time. They've got great board experience, whether it's on the commercial boards, whether they all also give back, or sitting on non-commercial boards and charities. Many of them sit on governmental stat boards also. So the full gamut of experience. And we invite them, we approach them, we request their time to do this, and they're very generous. coming on board to help us. So if are there specific questions you'd like to ping us through the chat function, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask the question to any of our panelists, this is the chance to do so. We just thought that this would be a good way for you if you're considering putting an application in to be considered. This is a chance to get more information, understand if there were challenges. And I want to highlight too that the program ran last year, so it wasn't as if you know, we could all meet up and you know, have drinks all the time. It wasn't that easy. We did a lot of stuff obviously through Zoom. I think many of the mentor-mentee sessions were also done through Zoom, though I know that in many instances also the relationship blossomed in such a way that our mentees were invited to the homes and had dinners with our mentors. So again, I think this year might be different with the opening up of you know, Singapore, with some easing of restrictions. I would hope that the sessions will be even more engaging. Do we have any questions from anyone? Just raise your hand or unmute yourself, or use the chat function. Happy to take these questions.
Hi, this is Kanchana. My question is, hi, it's very insightful, and someone who is kind of has not been on that path but is aspiring to be as a corporate leader as well as an entrepreneur. It's I would like to understand, so what's the next step is like? How can, and what eligibility criteria you have to select your mentees? Do we have to go through some sort of a selection process to be a mentee and to be assigned a mentor?
Yes, so at the we'll post up the link. Please go ahead and take a look at it. It's got the registration details. It's fairly comprehensive. So those details are important that you fill in, because it gives the selection committee an opportunity to take a look to determine your board readiness of these candidates, right? And to also then determine the match with the right mentor. As it turns out, you know, we anticipate we will get more mentees than we anticipate. We keep the program tight. Right. Last year we had 10. It's our intention to keep it to around that number again this year, and that's for a reason. It's to ensure that it stays focused. It's to ensure that we build this great cohort, that everybody stays engaged and in touch all the time, and that when they do meet again, there's this sense of engagement, sharing, and you build that cohort spirit. It's hard to do so when you've got a very large group. So I think we will be keeping it tight. That's the feedback that we're getting, that it works. So that hopefully gives you an idea of what we're looking for. The first thing to do is go to the registration site, put in your details, fill it up as comprehensively as you can, because it's important that the selection committee gets all those details.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, of course, absolutely.
Right.
Do any of our panelists want to talk about that process when they put in their application? Was it very difficult? Did you find it onerous?
Not really. I think,
No.
yeah, it basically clarified for me why I wanted to apply for the program. And the interview process was, it's not really an interview process. It's more about you finding out more of the program. And the person who interviewed me was very, very open in sharing. So.
Yeah, I would second that. I would say that the online application, it's simple and straightforward, but it does require you taking those questions back thinking them through and then completing it. It's not just a fill in the blanks. It's, part of the process is to understand why you want to be part of the program. And remember, there are many, many people who will be applying. And so, I think when your passion shows, that's important, rather than, if I get it, fine. If not, So I think being passionate about something and really wanting to gain from the experience, that's important that it comes across.
Agree.
Maybe
sorry,
I was just going to maybe to add that, we want to keep it tight, but we also want to be fair to the mentors as well who are giving their time.
Yeah.
So there is a reason why we want them to also get a lot out of the program, so that, they know that they've got someone who's really going to learn from them and make the most of it. So so you can appreciate there's a two-way relationship in here. Sorry, Jovina.
No, I was just going to add to what Willie was saying. As you're filling out that online application form, it will also be very clear why you want to apply for the program, because if you're very, very clear, I think it will show your passion.
But maybe I'm just going to interject a little bit that's not as rosy, in the sense that the interviews can be pretty intimidating. So I think that experience does depend on who you get as an interviewer. I did have, hear from some of the others that depending on the interviewer, it can be, I think it should be challenging, right? I think it should challenge you to think about, why is this something that I'm going to commit my time to? Because we were joining, of course, again, it was virtual. So we were joining on weekend mornings, right? Quite long sessions. I mean, some of them were 2-3 hours. And then we had evening sessions, and they were all extremely valuable, but that's like in addition to your day job. So I think the interview process, some of it could be intimidating. And then you also kind of feel, at least for me, a little bit of self-doubt. So if I got a question, I answered it. And then after the interview, I would think back, did I answer that well? Did I say the right thing? And but as Jovina and Willie said, it is a process that helps you reflect on yourself as well. So I think it's worth the challenge. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions from those on the call?
Leka has her hand up.
Hi, thanks. Well, thank you so much for your sharing. I think that's kind of clarified a lot of the questions that I had in my mind when I got to know of the program. So thank you for that. I had a couple of questions. One is, it does seem to be, other than the one-on-one relationship with the mentor and the regular meetings, there seems to be other masterclasses and stuff, and everybody seems hugely busy. So in terms of dates and schedules, if there are any times when, somebody is not able to make it for some reason, what happens? Are there possibilities to catch up on some of that? That's one. The second question I had was, it seems like the mentors have fairly distinguished backgrounds. Is it possible to have more than one mentor for different aspects of things that you want to develop in your aspiration for the board roles?
Well, the program is designed in such a way that it is a one-on-one relationship that one has with the mentor. Okay, I think one gets the best experience, and one is best able to glean the information and experience from that mentor, if in fact you're able to build that over time. And again, we're talking about 6 months. Ideally, if you're able to meet once a month, we're talking about 6 sessions. Okay, so in terms of the commitment to the program, absolutely, there's some flexibility with setting up your meetings with the mentor, and we definitely we don't dictate that. We actually expect the mentee to drive that process. They should be the ones, if they're committed, to say, follow up with the mentor to find out when he or she can meet, do a call, right? And set aside block the time, do the meeting invite, and stick to that schedule. That's on the mentee. We do expect that to happen. We have a schedule of dates that we look at for our other sessions, and these are the complementary sessions, whether it's listening in on a couple of other women directors. We had a session actually with a headhunter who specializes in board placement. Right? So hearing it from a headhunter, that the executive searches standpoint, what they look for, what they're seeing from companies who appoint them, commission them to find a board member, an appropriate board member. We had a session that actually talked about women who serve on family boards, because that's a very different mechanic, and dynamic. And all these they're usually done, as the ladies have mentioned, that it's usually in the evenings. So, we try to time it after work, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Or some of the masterclasses may actually happen on a Saturday. It could be a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, but there's usually like a block of 2.5, maybe even 3 hours, depending. But that's upfront. So, there will be a schedule provided to everybody to take a look at, and I think that's also what we ask in terms of the commitment. If you're prepared to commit, absolutely, that speaks well to yourself and your application.
So the masterclass dates are firmed up. I believe they may be on the website. The other classes were scheduled depending, we arranged them through the year. I mean, I think we highly recommend them, and because they were sort of very quite confidential, we didn't actually record them. So we felt that it was easier for those people not to be recorded and that information being shared. So I'd say the main thing is to commit to the masterclasses up front, because I think that's important.
Yep.
Otherwise, in terms of your ongoing involvement with the program, I think you will be a bit maybe disadvantaged by not being there. After that, I think it's up to you.
I mean, we had a couple of occasions when, even for these other sessions, other Zoom calls and webinars, there were 1 or 2 of our mentees who couldn't make it for a variety of reasons. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Questions? Nisha has posted up the link, so please go to that. Take a look at the questionnaire. If you have questions, let us know. Just feed it back to us. We'll try to answer them also. Nisha, when is the deadline? We had a deadline, right? April.
Yes, our deadline is on 24th April.
24th of April. So you have a few days to look at this. And please, put in your applications. We are coming up to 6 o'clock. I'm conscious it is a Friday evening. We thank you for the interest in us and our program. Just leaves me to thank our 3 panelists in sharing their journey. Obviously, we will continue to keep in touch with them. Oh, Jia, you have a question?
No, that's a clap.
Sorry, that's a clap. Okay, you liked what you heard, hopefully. Yes. Yes, great. Well, we are very, very proud of our graduating class from last year. They're wonderful women, and we have no doubt that they will go very, very far in whatever they decide to do. I'm sure serving on boards, different types of boards, will be on the cards for them. So yes, any other questions, thoughts? If not, thank you all our panelists, Jovina, Hsien, and Wily. Karen, thank you for joining us and helping to chime in. I do want to also recognize one other committee member here that was with us. Oh, is Gail Pick still on the line? Oh, she dropped off. She was with us earlier. So she's on our committee also, and was involved, very actively involved in our program too. So we are hopeful that you will all put in a submission. We look forward to receiving your applications. Give us a shout if you have questions, you need more information. We'll see you on the other side. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good Friday evening. Thanks again, Hsien, Willy, and Jovina. Take care.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
too.
everyone.
Thanks